will serve as a deterrent to others. Like they say it and it sounds so powerful. It sounds like, yes, now that they've caught this thief, now that they have arrested this person, it will serve as deterrent. By the time they serve time, by the time they end up in jail. And even for some people, it sounds comforting because it's more like, the justice system is working. But then, these punishments for crime, whether it's serving jail term or whatever, does it really stop others from following the same path? Or does it even stop offenders from repeating what they've done before? I mean, if it's really, really working, right? How come we have people continuing in crime? So let me share the story that I saw earlier. So a Nigerian man, right, identified as Ndubisi Udatu, he was arrested by the NDLEA. What happened? Oh, drug trafficking. Hello. So they caught him up north, one of the states there, and he concealed the drugs inside big music speakers. He's dealing in music equipment. Hallelujah. Now, it may not necessarily sound like, okay, there's nothing so special about this. All right, let me tell you the other part. Now, this same man, according to the report, had already served jail time in Malaysia. They have Edu Malaysia. This one is ND Malaysia. So he had served time over there for the same drug crime. He got out, we're hearing the story because he got out. Them no off a head, Abi. So he came back home to Nigeria and went right back into the same crime. Oh, business, that's what they call it. Drug business. Crazy stuff. So I was just wondering, so if jail could not change this guy, because we don't necessarily call it jail. We don't even call it prison anymore. They're called correctional facilities. That's what we call them here in Nigeria. I mean, even over there. Okay, in some places anyway. Right? So if this man could not change, and he's just one of many other people, after going to jail, served time, came out, no changes. The only change was environment, but aluta continua. So are we like recycling criminals, through the system? Or are we truly reforming them? Because the truth is, if punishment alone actually worked, we won't be hearing stories of correctional facilities being overcrowded. Because they're not overcrowded with boxes. They're not overcrowded with some property. It's not like, the food that they're packing in the correctional facilities, they're too much, It's overcrowded. No, overcrowded, not with chickens. Not with any other kind of livestock, but with human beings. Offenders, actually. So does punishment actually deter crime? Now, crazy enough, I did a little bit of research just to find out, let's see how many stories we have of people who had been in jail and came out. How if something is popular, if something is really, really happening much like that, it should be in the news. And then I'm not really seeing it like that. Just one story here, another one there. I'm seeing 1970, whatever. Yeah, it's happening. I want to believe that. But I'm not seeing that much. So I would like to hear from you. Get on Facebook. We're live on Facebook, Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. That's our Facebook page. And then, of course, we're on X, Nigeria Info PH. And send me a message via WhatsApp. 0809 030 6416. 0809 030 6416. 0809 030 6416. That's for WhatsApp. All right. So let's take your calls now. Does punishment really deter crime? Whether it's for a second offender or a first offender. All right. That's just one of the questions I would like you to answer. And then the other one is, what makes someone repeat the same offense even after jail time? What do you think makes them repeat? So someone has served time, perhaps some of them even maybe 10, 15, 14, 13, 20 years, and they spend all of those years in prison. in the correctional facility. And then they come out and they repeat the same crime. Now, for some other persons, they might not spend up to that amount of time in jail. It could be police detention. All right? It could be lasting for months. Even though they say that bail should be after how many days. Anyway. So the person might actually stay there for that long, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. And after staying in that kind of environment where it is not nice, they come out and they repeat. What do you think makes them do that? And then should we be looking at maybe other ways to fight crime beyond locking people up? And hello, jungle justice is not on the list, so I've removed it for you. Look for something else. All right? Thank you very much. 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0002, and 0817-923-0007. Let's talk. So I'm going to start off with the messages I have here on Facebook. Amazing stuff. So I saw one of them posts about 4 kidnappers who were killed, others who were arrested. We see these kind of stories every day. And every other day, members would regroup. You think that, hearing that a colleague has been neutralized, that somebody will say, no be my head, no be my head, to go back. Say, why? That's what I'm asking. All right. Bye, Festus. Oh, interesting. Bye, Festus. Are you from Thai? Good morning, Constance. I don't really think it depends on the victim in question. Ordinarily, resistance police is to curb crime. But sometimes people so crime that if there is no concrete measure to keep those up, it broadens the effect of crime instead of tackling it. Okay, that's from Bye, Festus. I'll take more messages. But let's get to the phone lines. 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0007. Submit them to 0809-30-6416, 0809-030-6416. Do you think, all right, in your own estimation, you can tell me, yes, I think that punishment actually deters crime. I mean, there are people who would see the amount of punishment meted out on a thief, and even though they've been planning how to go and steal something, they'll be like, I beg, it's not worth it. There are crimes where when a thief is caught, they would flog the person in public. For them, that's their own punishment. Receive flogging. And it's expected to maybe shame the person, and that's going to deter them from doing the same thing again. But it's sometimes people just repeat. I mean, in this case, the guy's jail time outside Nigeria started doing the very same thing doing over there. Mr. is calling from JRA. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, Constance.
Good afternoon, sir. Welcome.
Even from ancient days, punitive measures never deter crime or criminals. Rather, embolden them. We are talking about criminals. We are not talking about the innocent ones of first-time offenders. Now, look at it from this aspect. At the Civil War, 1971, 1972, 73, Nigeria experienced a kind of criminality, violent crime that never recorded from 1901 till that period. The Civil War exposed something to the affected ones. Go and check. Those that were affected by the war were abandoned. They were never incorporated. They were never rehabilitated, and they took to hands again. We are about the Notorious Seven, the likes of the Anini and the rest of them, where we are happy they were neutralized. Some of them were, their execution were being televised and so on. Did they stop crime? Even then, sole administrator, then which is General Gowon then, that you modify it, don't deter them. If you don't do them like this, more we commit crime. Today, check out the kind of crime that we are now experiencing. That even the I thought not been passed to law. Right now, they now call it correctional center, no longer prison.
Yeah.
Although there is no truth in that. But, no, I don't agree with it. Even here in Port Harcourt, things I read out. Even come try to them, we tell you, after all, you lost. I don't know something like that. You do any thing I go, you have wrong, too much. 3 months I go there for prison. There is a particular guy I know at this yard way. See, Constance, if you sit after 3 months in the street or in the environment, these brothers were around, or something happened. Before you hear, this guy is in prison, This guy is in prison, and they release them. The truth is this. There are better ways to manage these actions. Number one, give them that education they need from the credo. Number two, if the man who commit that, especially first-time offenders, put them on what I call rehabilitation theory. The rehabilitation theory. On this process, you have engaged the mind of this person. Today, the correctional center is like even a system that recruits more criminals. I don't know when last you went to the correctional center here in Port Harcourt. My sister, it's not a side to pull.
All right.
The side that even breaks my heart the more, it is the women wing, the female wing. Go and see women here. Girls, even teenage girls, what took them there? We need to rechannel this aspect of punitive, deter, and talk about rehabilitation.
All right.
Before I leave, sorry, do you know that even most of them that are being freed from the prison to go home, they don't give them transportation. You are free, or you are go. How will you get home now? No transportation, no money to start life all over. We need a lot of work to do, Mr. Zion.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Zion. Do you think that punishment deters crime? That's the question I'm asking. And then I'm also asking, what do you think is the reason why someone repeats the same offense after receiving a punishment, like serving jail time? 10 years of your life gone, 10, 15, even if it's 3 months. That's the time that you should actually use your freedom for something else. But then the person comes back, does the same thing. Why do you think this happens? Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Paulinus from Port Harcourt. Welcome aboard.
Yes. My name is Pauline.
Oh, it's a woman.
So,
Hello?
hello?
Yes, I can hear you now. Please go on.
Okay. Punishment must be done on them. Because the more you give them punishment, they'll stop doing that battle. I get that.
Yeah, I'm getting your point. It's a man, actually. It's a boy.
You can't tell me that after he's beating somebody and everything, this just is what we really need. Because when they go to jail, they don't treat them like out and about. Their jail is very comfortable. It's comfortable, even the more comfortable.
Depends. But you break it. You could call if you, all right, so that when you talk, we can hear you loud and clear. All right. Thank you very much. Do you think punishment actually deters crime? Does it stop people committing? If someone who was planning to do crime and perhaps hear some they will have been arrested, and maybe in some cases where you actually hear that maybe there was a gun battle and these guys were relaxed, you would think that, okay, this should serve as actually deterrent, like actually scare other people from going into the same crime. But no. And it's also this argument that the correctional facilities are not getting anything. Nobody's getting reformed, or are not actually getting reformed. You get in there and they get hardened. And some of them, more like they have an opportunity to meet with higher criminals, and they are taught better ways to do what they've been doing. Maybe at a larger scale now. Kuku from Okpokeche, I hope you speak slowly. Hi, Da Kuku. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Kuku.
What is that? Most of them who committed crime is to question that they're good to be back and continue is that they have story who sponsor them. Even if most of them were back with their parents, that is why they have mind to do that for them. If somebody who has fear of God, who nobody to ask, they I'm doing something, I have to know what to do. I get to my point. Some of them do it at their school. They are backed by politicians. They have useless. They don't have no school again. You have to go for a session for 4 years. When you come back, before 1 year, you go back there. What are that? They have mind. Their parents are also most of them. Most of them today, they have been sold because of all this. But the guy is still ever. What are we talking about? No, this society has gone by. But listen to me. What you are going to pray is to deliver a response in this country and issues of issues that is happening. I can see my point. So the politicians are the problem. They can't get somebody like me. No. I know myself. I'm always accusing my brain. Stop here. Thank you, my sister.
Thank you. People to crime. So don't do crimes these days because they are scared of the consequences. That some people's mind are already to live a life of crime. I take from that's your message. All right, thank you very much. I need to check something. Yeah, I think all right. Let's start with. Okay, I'll read a message while I get a call. Contem on Facebook says, "Good afternoon, Constance. In the olden days, punishment used to be a strong tool to deter crime in our society. But nowadays, it's no longer the same because the system we have found ourselves does not promote law and justice, rather impunity and rascality, hence giving room for no punishments that can wreck our neighborhood. Okay, imagine one time there will be about 8% of little crime on suicide mission, and the few of us that form the remaining 10% will not commit crime even if there was no punishment for crime." Fabel, Barry, Dilo, Victor from Port Harcourt. All right, thank you very much, Fabel. Hello. Another one. I think people repeat same crime after incarceration because our correctional centers were not designed to correct criminals. Rather, they harden the criminals. Most of the criminals also have this mentality that they won't be caught again. I think we need other punishments beyond incarceration to deter crime in our society. For example, castration for rapists. It is what it is. That's from Dave. Okay. I was going to say ouch when I read his message because it actually felt like ouch. And by the way, I read a story today about a woman in South Africa, a mother who fought someone trying to rape her disabled daughter or her daughter living with disability. And she overpowered the man and killed him. And she was arrested. And they're trying to charge her with murder. Anyway, some other person has risen up, to her defense. I think a lawmaker is trying to scrap that. A Vibrant Emmanuel says, punishments deter crimes, but in our generation of today, you will discover that a reasonable number of inmates in correctional facilities to be habitual offenders. Okuna from Labor Line, yes, punishments scare crime. So, who in that just crime, and that makes it look like we have more people in crime. Oh, so what's your name?
Yes, the Bible teacher called known as the I like it.
People calling. Please one.
I must say, like secretary last speaker, actually, some people are choice now. Some are born that way. Some inherited it from their bloodline, from their family line. Even after undergoing terrible punishment, the spirit does not leave them. They want to leave it, but it can't leave them. That is one major cause. And those are the kind that will kill their fellow human beings. They will not see blood. Because to them, it doesn't look like anything strange. So you have such people. Those who are deterred by punishment are those with weak minds or those who learn it from their friends. There is learned behavior and unlearned behavior. There are natural behaviors and those learned from friends. Those that learn it find it easy to live. But those who have it within them, within their bloodstream, find it difficult except through deliverance. That is one major reason. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for calling. That's the last call I'll be taking right now. I'll read your messages. I see your messages here. I'll take them after the interview that will be happening at 1:10. But we have the news, trending stories coming up at 1 p.m. So do stay tuned for that one. Let's find out what's trending. I believe that River State should be on that trend. I mean, we trend every day, We're popular like that. Interesting. All right. So while you're also waiting for what's trending, all right, remember, you could be the winner. 25,000 Naira could just be yours. All right. So do remember that Nigerian Info alongside with One Play will be giving you that opportunity to win extra cash. With 500 Naira, you can buy a ticket. And if you choose to, you can actually buy as much as possible. All right. The more you buy, the more chances you have at winning. oneplay.ng. That's where you should be at right now on your browser. Just type it there. And of course, you know what to do. All right. Remember, Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. You should also, by the time you click, that's when you get on there, of course, you see Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. And then you join in and then buy your ticket. And we'll see what happens. I'll be right back.
Express yourself right here on Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info.